All right, well, I'm not a YouTuber, so this isn't production quality stuff, but I figured I'd post an update on my experience with the 2017. I misspoke in my previous video. 2017 Trek Farley EX 9.8 full suspension fat bike. I in the last post, I talked about some clearance concerns that I had, particularly with the rear wheel, and so I'm here to give you an update on that. First things first, from a tire pressure perspective, running Bontrager Barbegazi tubeless ready 120 TPI 275 by 4.5 tires, on the front with the Bluto, I'm pretty much anything over 7 psi or 6. So I use a mechanical gauge that goes up to 15 psi and measures it in quarter-pound increments. Anything above 6.75 on the front, for me, causes the tire shape to start to rub on the bottom of the fork crown. It's ever so slight, and I had the wheel checked, the rim checked for roundness, and so I basically run this thing at 6.5 and below anyway. Today on this crunchy snow, I'm ending up riding at about 4 3/4, between that and 5 pounds in the front. But on the rear, and on the rear too, 7 psi is what I was able to do. 6.5 psi with some slight rubbing in my previous post, with some slight rubbing on the inside of the chainstay on the drive side. But the update right now is that I took it to my shop, Biker's Edge in Bristol, Connecticut, and my favorite mechanic, Hans, up there. And what we looked over the bike, and what we decided to do was give the wheel a slight dish to the non-drive side. And by slight, I mean 2 to 3 millimeters to the non-drive side. It's going to be hard for me to get the clearance probably get the clearance, but that's a lot of clearance now, right here, compared to what I was seeing before. It didn't compromise any other clearance, create any other clearance issues anywhere else, and even under load, which is kind of the key here. Even under load, under side loads, under hard cornering, and again, I'm a 220-pound with gear rider, so even under heavy cornering, left side, right side, not just on riding on snow, but riding on earth, and hard ground and in berms, I'm not getting any of that. So success. I don't notice any of the offset. There's no odd tracking between the front wheel being dead center and the right and the rear wheel being, slightly left of center. I'm pretty picky about those kinds of things, and I can't tell. I'd be interested in people who do try this and say, no, it didn't work for me, for whatever reason. I just think there's so much tire on these things that that a little bit of offset is negligible, especially something like 2 to 3 millimeters. In any case, we're free and clear. I had Hans inspect the rub on the stay. I took off some paint. Did not start to eat through any of the metal. I had a couple people tell me I better watch out for that, and that's reasonable. And then about the only other thing I would add, the only trouble I've had is under heavy load, climbing a steep pitch on rock, on grippy rock. I did blow up the Freehub, the rear Freehub, and that was easily replaceable. Just took a trip to the shop and then waiting for the part to come in. But Trek was very good. Warrantied it, put me back out on the trail. I did, in the process of breaking the Freehub, did bend the hanger. There's a gouge in the hanger, the derailleur hanger, so that was also replaced under warranty. Excellent experience with this bike. I took it to the Highland Mountain Bike Park Winter Woolly last weekend, and while the conditions were not great, it is something that I'd like to do again. Because I think downhill mountain biking on fat bikes on groomed trails is probably something everybody who likes to mountain bike or considers themselves a diehard mountain biker ought to try, because I tell you, it was a lot of fun. I realize now that I'm just standing here with the with the camera just glued to the bike and not really doing anything else. I guess I could have just posted a picture of this, but anyway, that's the deal. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you learned something. I did run into a guy at the another rider with a 9.8 EX who was running the stock Hodags 3.8s, and he rode right up to me and says, "Wait a minute, how'd you get that to work?" And I'm telling you right now, this works. I noticed no ill effects. The only other piece of advice or warning I would offer is these Barbegazis are, if I believe the marketing material, and I tend to, these 27.5 by 4.5s are actually lighter by a few grams, I think, than the 27.5 by 3.8 Bontrager Hodags. So smaller tire, but heavier. And my understanding is because that's because a lot of the sidewall construction, and they've taken a lot of weight out. They're not built the same. So the Hodag's a more durable tire. So I think what you need to know is that, I'm starting to see some wear. I'm starting to see some wear around the around here, where you start to see some of the casing, but I'm not, it's a trade-off, and for me, I wanted a bigger contact patch. East Coast riding is a little bit, and I intend to use this as a 4-season bike. I have a couple other bikes I can use and will use, but it's nice to be able to take this one off the rack and take it for a rip. And I've ridden smaller tires, and I'm a big guy and an aggressive rider, and this was the choice that I made. So 4.5s will fit. Do a little bit of tweaking to the rear wheel for offset, and let her rip. Thanks for watching. Bye.